Sorry my video got interrupted, so I'm going to have to do this again. But take two here. So we have our LCD already figured out of example 3, which you should have already tried to solve, of 10a to the third b squared. And so I'm looking at each denominator. So I'm looking at my left one first, this 5a to the third b squared, and saying, what do I need to multiply that by to get my LCD? Well, the only thing I have to multiply by is 2, because 2 times 5 is 10, which covers my number. I already have an a to the third, and I already have a b squared. On my right fraction, I need to make 10ab 10a to the third b squared. So what am I missing? Well, I have my 10. I have 1a, but I need 3, so I'm going to have to multiply by a squared. I need 2 b's, I only have 1, so therefore I got to multiply by a b, which gives me 8 plus, 8 over 10a to the third b squared plus 9a squared bc over 10a to the third b squared. Now that my denominators are the same, I can combine my numerators all over my common denominator. Again, nothing goes into all three terms, which means I have my final answer. So now let's go ahead and look at one with subtraction. And the subtraction doesn't change a ton, but just a little bit of a difference. So let's kind of see how that happens. So the first thing we need to do is find our LCD, which in this case I've got a 16 and a 5. So I go through my numbers. Okay, what number does 16 and 5 go into? Should be 80. And I have an a to the third in my right denominator, and I have b squared on my left. So therefore I have my LCD of 80 a to the third b squared. So when I'm trying to figure out to get my denominators the same, well, how do I get from 16b squared to 80 a to the third b squared? Well, I need to multiply by 5, so I do that on top and bottom. I need a to the third because I'm missing that, and I already have the b squared covered. So now let's look to the right side. 5a to the third b. 5 times what gives me 80? Well, that'd be 16. I have my a to the third, but I'm missing a b, so I put that up there. Alright, so now I can go ahead and multiply. I have on my left side up top 15a to the fifth over 80 a to the third b squared minus 8 times 16 should be 144 xb over 80 a to the third b squared. Again, denominators are the same, so therefore I can combine my numerators all over my common denominator. Alright, so hopefully that seems to work out okay. Alright, now that we've done them where we don't have to do any factoring, obviously that is going to be included because this whole unit basically is going to deal with a bunch of different types of factoring. So now we're going to simplify polynomial denominators. So I've got 6x minus 18 and 4x squared minus 14x plus 6 in my denominator. So again, looking down here, the difference, I have plus and minuses in my denominators. Yes, in previous examples, I had some fraction minus or plus another fraction, but here I have them in my denominators. That is telling you you need to factor this. So I get 6x minus 3 over here. First thing we always look for when factoring is what's in common. Well, there's a 2 in common. And then I can factor. I have a plus in the back, which means I look to the front, and I have 2 of those. And 1 and 3 is going to give me on the outside negative 6x, on the inside 1x to negative 7x. And so I have my LCD 6x minus 3, 2x minus 1. And so, again, looking at my fractions. So I have on my left fraction 5 over 6x minus 3 minus x minus 1 over 2, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. So now let's look at my LCD and compare them to my denominators. So over here, I've got 6x minus 3. Well, the only thing I'm missing from my LCD is 2x minus 1. On my right denominator, I have 2x minus 1, x minus 3. So I have a 2, but I need to get to 6. Well, what do I need to multiply top and bottom by? That would be 3. So now I can distribute here. So I'm distributing the 5 to the 2x, which gives me 10x. 5 to the negative 1, which gives me negative 5 over 6, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. Minus, again, I'm going to distribute this 3 now to the x and to the negative 1. So 3x minus 3 over 6, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. The last thing I need to do is simplify up top. Remember, this minus sign has to go to every term in the back. So I have 10x minus 3x is 7x. Negative 5 minus a negative 3. Well, minus a negative becomes a plus 3, so minus 2 over my LCD of 6, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. Let's move that right up here, and should put it right over here and box it. Alright, so the last example is given here, example 6. Per the usual, go ahead and pause the video so that way you can work on it by yourself to see how you're doing before you get to the homework problem, so that way you can come back and figure out maybe where you got stuck at. So go ahead and pause the video now. Alright, so first thing I need to do, because I have plus and minuses in my denominators, is to factor my denominators. So then, once I have it factored, I gotta find my LCD. So I've got an LCD of x minus 3, x plus 2, and I have a 5. So when I look at these, alright, so in my left denominator, what am I missing? Well, I'm missing a 5, and that's it. So I multiply top and bottom by 5. In my right denominator, all I'm missing is an x minus 3. So I multiply top and bottom by x minus 3. So over here I'll distribute 5x negative 5 over 5x minus 3, x plus 2, minus, again, distribute that 4, so 4x minus 12 over 5x minus 3, x plus 2. Now that my denominators are the same, I can combine up top, so this minus goes to both of these again. 5x minus 4x is x. Negative 5 minus a negative becomes a plus, so plus 7, because negative 5 plus 12 is 7 over 5, x minus 3, x plus 2. And so there is my final answer. Alright. I'm going to skip number 7 for now, and if we need to come back over another example, I will do so. But your job for homework is to complete numbers 1 through 10 and number 20 through 25 on the adding, subtracting, rational expressions worksheet on Google Classroom. Again, one more reminder, quizzes, they have got to be done on time, and the time frames are going to be shorter because I just can't accept cheating in this class. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions per the usual, please email me. I'll be happy to help out.